Okay, guys, so today is a beautiful day. Something amazing that will be happening today. We'll be having somebody special at the studio, and this somebody that is playing a very big role in the blockchain Web3 ecosystem. He's a community guy, right? I think that's 2 weeks ago. We are to you, so I was invited to speak at his meetup, right? So he has been doing amazing, hosting amazing events, doing amazing things to the Web3 ecosystem, and that's Adam. So later today, I'll be having him in the studio, so we can look at the Web3 generally, look at partnership, and then see how we can create more solutions, and of course give back to the community at large. Yeah, so it's really important to understand the in today's world, right? Some people think that it doesn't concern them what is really happening. I mean, we all saw the era of the Nokia 3310, and then we moved to something bigger, right? The flip phones, we had the flip phones, and then now the smart devices. Initially, children were not really given that opportunity. They are not exposed to tech that much. But today, we see a kid that is just 5 years old, having the capacity to even navigate your smartphone more than you, more than the parents, right? So it shows you where the world is moving to. It shows you the trend the world is taking. The world is actually moving. We all know that the richest men in the world are not usually valued by their cars or the properties that they possess, even though that could be included. But we understand that they play a very big role in this thing called the financial market. And we need to start driving awareness, especially in this part of the world, okay? Your wealth is not usually in how much of this that I have, how much of those physical assets that I have, okay? Most times they are in assets that are not feasible. That's physically you cannot touch them, and that's the financial market. And there are many financial markets in the world today. We have crypto market, we have the stock market, we have the forex market, okay? One of the easiest way and the low barrier of entry is the crypto market for me, and that is actually true, okay, because of the technology called the blockchain that powers that market, okay? So I think we need to start being inquisitive about this ecosystem, because that's where the world is moving to, or actually that's where the world is. It's not like the world is moving to, okay? So if you're not yet there, you need to start learning. Why I love the crypto and the stock market is because they promote ownership, and we have some people who can become a lead investor in some of these successful tech startups, right? I'm particular with tech, okay, because that's my ecosystem, right? But you see, some of the money they spend in the club can actually give them millions and if not billions of dollars, right? But they can spend it in the club. So we need to start building that awareness where every single year you make a plan. Okay, I'm going to be part of this market. I'm going to be part of this. The market is big, just like your conventional market where you go buy your groceries and the rest. You have to pick what you're coming to buy, right? You need to be particular with what you're buying. In the ownership market I mentioned too, at least every year you can plan, okay, I want to own a piece of this company. I want to look for startups that are just starting in the tech ecosystem. That's where the leverage is, when you come in early, especially those that have started making money, that's started generating revenue. That makes a lot of sense. If you skip that time, the time you come in will be a bit late, even though you can still make substantial profit. We need to start creating this awareness. That's how America is built. That's how the first world countries are built, okay? It's in this market, right? It's in this market, and significantly a lot is happening. The big boys are playing the big boys game just because of this market, right? You can see a news that comes up today. That news is intentional because of this market. Even people do a lot of things because of this market. Why should a particular region not participate in something that is global, something that is open, and something that significantly can something that can really impact, it can impact your finance, it can create wealth for you, right? I think we need to build this awareness, and then people need to be inquisitive about what is really happening in the world today. I will be moving down to so we'll be moving down to meeting Adams. See you on my next video. Do well to subscribe. I mean, you're going to be exposed to amazing opportunities. You're going to be exposed to where you should be, where the world is moving. You get insight in tech, you get inside in Web3 to be precise, as the blockchain technology and opportunities therein. Don't forget to share to somebody else. I'm starting afresh because I decided to give my previous channel for something else. Right, let's start afresh and let's build a thriving community. Let's build a community that can be part of what is happening in today's world.
So medical data has to go out, but now that data will now go to a centralized database.
Okay.
Because the person building will be like, this information should stay with us rather than going on chain. So what they will now do is they will now put the database or that thing on chain.
Okay.
More like the database ID on chain. That is still not also secure.
I see.
We are still doing a centralized system. So we need a system whereby everything is on chain, and at no point in time does a centralized system come in. When we achieve that, that's when we know that we have achieved on blockchain. I was doing a research on a project that my boss showed me, Alio blockchain, and these people are doing something very amazing. Privacy by default. The internet is not privacy by default. At every instant, the moment you come on the internet, you're exposed. We know that the browser is telling you you're secure, but one way you're exposed. There are hackers that can hack you. I think just come online, you're hacked instantly. You get. So this blockchain is a layer 1 blockchain that's trying to build privacy by default. And while I was on that space, I had just finished reading about the blockchain. That was why I was coming back from you. I was just on my phone instead of sleeping. Let me just look through this chain and saw what they are building. This type of chains, you won't see them on mainstream because they are not that.
I get it.
And they are not fully on chain yet, but their token is out. I just finished reading about the chain only for me to jam in space in the night talking about this issue about privacy. How they built their system is in the sense that they are using a zero knowledge proof, and what it means is I don't need to give you my information. Let's say my age now. If I want to drink a beer in Nigeria, you have to be 18. I don't need to tell you that I'm 20. I don't need to tell you I'm 25. I don't need to tell you that I'm 26. I just need to prove that I'm above 18 for me to buy a beer.
I get that point. Okay. So I don't need to tell you that I live in so place. I just need to prove that I'm in Port Harcourt.
I'm in Port Harcourt. That way your privacy is secure and you don't need to give more than enough information that you have to give. So I can see that blockchain technology working perfectly in the medical sector.
Are you recording this? You're recording. Oh, that's nice.
So I can see something that you're working perfectly in the medical sector. I'm sick. I have the doctor has given me this is what is sick, but I don't need to give all these details. Like my body physique now, I don't need to give all these details, but the doctor can verify that this is what is seeking. This is the symptoms that he's getting. You don't need to give them my name. Then we can also bring it to real estate, right? I don't need to tell people that it's Great Adams that own this land, but I can verify that this land is my property.
Okay, so you know one thing with the blockchain technology is decentralization and public ledger, right?
Yes.
So if, of course, the way we understand that the blockchain can be used or is being used for real estate is the fact that I can upload on my document as the original owner of a particular property. And since it's on chain, cannot be changed, right? So it means that if I get a buyer or maybe an agent gets a buyer, all they need to do is for me to give them either the ID and then they search and it comes whatever platform brings them to the document I've uploaded. So it's confirmed that I'm the owner. Like maybe the central systems that we have, which includes the government, a lot of things can happen. I mean, with money, you can change a lot of things, right? So in that way, and talking about this new blockchain ecosystem, right? How possible is it that maybe informations like from what you've said with the example you gave, maybe it's going to be you know that this land is available for sale only. You don't need to know the owner. But you just know that this property has not been resold. Right. Okay. And okay. So maybe it's a second level technology that will try to extract smaller information and release that from the bulk of information, from the bulk of data. It does what AI does, which is to give a summary. And then release only that summary, which is more safer.
How zero knowledge works is let's say they gather your information, run it in a verifier, confirm those information, and then encrypt it.
Okay.
Right. So let's say another information comes in. it encrypts that information and compare it to. So now
Okay.
you don't really need to know what's happening. The comparing goes on, and then you get. So
Okay.
that way you don't need to release more than enough information that you can give. But right now, if you are bringing Ethereum or all these other blockchains, when it comes to medicals and the rest of
Mm.
that, you give more than enough information. And even if they are trying to reduce it, the third parties will still hold the information. You get. So
I
that's
get.
just there's this concept of sowing seeds into people's life.
Okay.
Yeah, people think that when I sow into you, automatically carry what you carry. Although spiritually we can agree on that, but sowing into someone's life or giving someone something doesn't mean that someone is succeeding. Like now you're succeeding and I sow into your life doesn't mean I will succeed. It doesn't work that way, right? So he made a statement is sowing in my life, sowing seed doesn't mean you succeed. You get. So I was like, well, let me listen to what this man was saying. And the next thing he said was, the more value you have, the more money you get. The money available is waiting for values.
Okay. To match up with them.
Exactly. There is enough money. What you need is value.
Okay.
You get. So let's say the amount of money is $1,000 and the value you have is giving you $5. It doesn't mean the ecosystem is not working. It doesn't mean that
Oh, I
this thing
see.
is trash. It
Okay.
doesn't. It
I see
doesn't.
where you're going to.
It doesn't. That even if you're selling bottled water, it doesn't mean that because you're making 200 naira, 300 naira, it means that is the end of that ecosystem.
Because some people are doing
Exactly. There
numbers.
are people. The richest man is he in China, be in Singapore. I can't remember exactly, but his major business is water. He sells water. You get. So what I will inspire is when you join the space, don't be discouraged because you're getting these little things. The more value you're able to accumulate, come into the space to get value rather than coming into the space to get money. You get. So the more value you have, it will increase the amount of money you get at the end of the day. So I think that is.
And getting value takes time. So there's no hurry.
There is no.
So you have to be, I get you.
It's very expensive to get knowledge. Although knowledge in this our ecosystem is free, in this our time, like if you go on YouTube, if you really want to learn, if you only on YouTube you've educated yourself
Absolutely.
enough,
Yeah.
right? But then one thing about learning by yourself is you don't have a structure.
Sure.
So you have to do your due diligence. It's either your and now we have AIs. God, when I started, we didn't have any of these things. I wish when I started, these things were there. Probably I would have times two my results by
I
now.
get you.
You get. So now you have AIs that can give you a full curriculum on where to go. Let's say you want to learn become a business marketer in blockchain. You can go to ChatGPT, give me a roll-up or a curriculum on how to learn this technology. It will tell you start here, start there.
Absolutely.
So
Or mentors. You get mentors.
exactly, we can also look at people doing in this space. So what I would say is come into this space to get value because value is everything. I've seen people in this space that come online and make noise, but when you meet them physically, you see that there is nothing they have to offer you.
I get you.
It's very disappointing that there's someone that I've been looking forward to meet this person. When I met, I was disappointed because I was disappointed because what you put out there and your personality are not aligning. A lot of these people just come, they don't know what they do behind.
Yeah, I get
They
you.
don't know what they do behind. So
True.
it's kind of an advice and an inspiration. Chase value, learn this thing very well. Yeah,
Yes.
also work with it. So that is kind of this space is about values. Don't just come in and if you don't have value, you end up doing fraud at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
So if you come with the intention of getting money, which is one of the reasons I have with people talking about blockchain technology, they just come and tell you that come and make money on this ecosystem. If someone is advertising, if you were to investor or somebody is building an application, you were to ecosystem, they'll come and tell you that look, this application will do this, and that. They will tell you what the application is, but find a Web3 marketer and what will he tell you?
Come into pump.
It it will pump and it's blockchain. They are not
Yes.
selling you. They are not selling you the
Even
value.
the laws that causes that pump, so that you would know what you're doing or know when to expect it.
They just keep you at that. So the issue is people are sending the wrong messages because how me I got in was because of the money. But when I got in, I later found out that is the money doesn't come like that until you get
But,
value.
yes.
So the more value you have, the more money you're able to get. So don't be discouraged. This space is a money space. I mean, I'm still looking for the money. I've not seen the money yet, but I'm building value. Right?
I get.
I've been able to know that building is the only way to go. because when outsiders come and build for us, at the end of the day, the money will leave.
Sure, sure,
The money will
sure.
leave.
That's one thing. Yeah, we need to expose this part. This part you just spoke about, very crucial,
Yes.
because that's what builds great nations.
Yes.
That's why funding is everywhere in US.
Yes.
Just start one thing, go to Silicon Valley and you're funded. I know it's
Exactly.
not that easy, but it's a known fact. They give you grant, they can give you 100K to just test your. They've not started talking about owning equity or anything.
Yes.
Do you get? So we need to start that. We need to start sharing that. We need to come up in this part of the world when it comes to that part, because the same money you spend in the club, most people. I mean, yesterday somebody was telling me that where she works,
Yes.
people come to spend in a drink, they blow 11 million. That's say $7,000 for a drink.
Yes.
But you can fund this. There are certain startups that have seen their success story that they started with $10,000, right? Some even less. So you can fund a startup, but you spend it on alcohol.
I'm telling you.
Right.
And a lot of our investors in the region are not interested in funding projects here, which is bad. And one thing I've noticed is when they even come, when the investor from this region come, they want to buy a whole idea.
Yes.
And when they are proposing funding to you, they propose you chicken chain funding, which is why a lot builders in this region don't look for local investors.
They look for
outside investors. And by doing that, the value still goes outside. It doesn't
stay here.
So investors in this region should be open-minded and know that by investing, they also get something out of it. And they should not be, because when I started as a website designer, I build websites. Find a business to go and build websites for, they'll be charging you 10,000, 15,000 for what?
Okay, even
that was then. Okay. I'm telling you how
the last time somebody asked for to build website was the developers I contacted, it was 1.2.
That those people know what they are doing.